I figured I would take this opportunity to show you guys something. I made a mistake when I was priming my cases. You can see here that I actually loaded one of my primers upside down. So for the beginner loaders, I can go through from step 1 all the way through to show you how to correct this. And it's actually very easy. Hopefully this video will show step by step and be very informative to a lot of people, experienced reloaders and the beginners alike. So what we're going to do is we're going to start out by using this tool right here. Is called a bullet puller, and what it does is it uses a collet that is specific for the caliber that you are using. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this camera on my tripod here and try to get it aligned so that I can zoom in here and show you guys a little bit more detail of how to go about doing this. So there we go. So I'm going to pull this one bullet out of here, and these were all finished. I just got done doing these, and as soon as I finished seating the bullet in, I placed them in my holder upside down, and I noticed right away that ended up getting in there backwards. So what we're going to do, we're going to start out, I have my bullet seater in there, and we're going to take the bullet out. So of course we have powder in there and everything too. So they do make the hammer style bullet pullers. It's a kinetic puller. It looks like a hammer. You put this in there and you just bang on something, but it makes a mess because it knocks all your powder out. In this case, that wouldn't make a big deal because we're going to have to take the powder out anyway. But I'll show you how this works. This thing is really handy. You can twist this down. What you do is you put your ram up, and now it's on the bullet, and you twist this down so that you get the right amount of friction onto the bullet. And so now what's happening is that collet, the bullet is going up inside of the collet, and as I bring this handle down, the collet squeezes and grabs onto just the bullet, not the case. So now when I bring the case back down, you can see we have just a case and no bullet. And I lift this up, bullet is up inside of there. I believe it got stuck. It sure did. It should fall out. Usually it does, but sometimes it gets stuck in there. So now we have our bullet. Pulled our bullet. I'm going to set that aside. We have our case. I'm going to dump the powder out of the case. Make sure it's nice and good. I'm going to put it back in here again. And I already set my die. I have a 3-die set for the 38 special. And with most handguns, you can see that you have a material in here, and I forgot the name of it, titanium nitride material inside of this die. So what happens is basically it prevents you from not having to wax or to lube your cases. Some people do, some people don't. In this case, I'm not going to, just to save time. Usually I just put a very light coating on there. A lot of people say that you cannot, or that you shouldn't deprime a live primer, but if you are very careful, you can still set this up in there. Oh, you know what I forgot was might as well put my primer knock here. All this does at this stage is it creates a ramp, so it throws your primer out. And I'm going to put the primer catcher in there. There we go. So now when I run this down, boom, the primer pops out. And we don't have a primer anymore. So I pop that primer right out of there. Resize the case. And to save time, we could go through the whole process, reprime it, do everything, but I'm just going to grab another case that's already done. So we'll pretend that we just got done repriming that. We'll make sure that that primer is all good, which it is. So I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to take this thing back out of here. Get my spent primers out of the way. I'm going to, what am I doing? Oh, right. So I already set this, this powder hopper. I'm going to zoom in here. I already set this powder hopper to give me my 4.7 grains of powder. So make sure you can use your little powder tray. Bring your powder tray up. Make sure that you have the right amount of powder. I can run a load here, and it dumps your powder in there. These Hornady powder measures are actually very accurate, and I've noticed on my particular load that I'm still pretty good. I want 4.7, but sometimes it might give me 4.6. Sometimes it might give me 4.8, but either way, it's still real accurate. So at this point, I don't put them all in the block and then load and then use my funnel. Instead, I just put my primed case right up here. Charge it. Now I have a charged round. It's primed, it's charged. I'm going to take that same bullet. We are going to change out, sorry I forgot to do this, but we got to make sure that I like this design too, by the way. This design is very neat. Hornady has the bushing style, so you don't have to sit here and readjust every time. You got a bushing that is keyed and it fits right in, and it's already set. So now my bullet seating depth and overall length gets me at 1.455. So I'm going to put this bullet in here. I'm going to run it up. And now we have a proper bullet seat. We've got our primer all right. And just to make sure that we have a right depth, I'm going to turn my caliper on. I use the Hornady anvil base to get a proper base on the bottom of the bullet, and I'm going to set it to 0. We're going to run this 1.4510. So that's the whole process. It's just that easy. If you ever make a mistake on your bullet, or you get the wrong, so if I wanted exactly a 1.45 or a we'll say 1.55 is what the 357 mag and the 38 special say in the Hornady book, we would have the ability to pull the bullet, readjust our bullet seater die, and then go ahead and reseat it again. So that bullet puller is a very nice tool, and if you don't have it, I highly suggest purchasing one of these guys. They're so nice. I'll show you the collet in there so you can see what that bullet does. Bullet comes up into it, it grabs only the bullet, and you have to adjust that, just by simply twisting this, but it grabs the bullet, and then when you lock it in with the handle and you pull down on your ram, it just slides that bullet right out of there. So a very cool tool. I highly suggest those. They save so much time and a mess and everything. So anyway, that is it. I hope you guys learned something from this. Thanks for watching.